To all the distinguished guests, members of the executive committee, office bearers of the OPPI Secretariat, both past and present, friends of the industry, and my colleagues. I have the difficult task of setting the context of a 60-year journey in 5 minutes. But I will try and do justice by picking up just a couple of themes that I want all of us to be mindful of. I think the glue that binds all of us together in healthcare and pharmaceuticals is the ultimate commitment to patients whom we serve on a daily basis. This industry will always be about making a difference to individuals on a daily basis, one patient at a time. And if you look at the 60-year journey that OPPI has traversed, just do a flashback in 1965, population of India was about 490 million. We're almost 3 times. But I think what stayed true in this 60-year journey is our commitment to patients across each decade of this 60-year journey. So I stand here on the shoulders of all the giants sitting in this room, as well as those who are not here with us, who helped shape the pharmaceutical landscape in this country. Very often we take great pride as Indians when we hear that every third pill sold in the world is made in India. But a large part of that credit goes to member companies of the OPPI who really set up the manufacturing footprint early on. So if you look at the innovation that happened for the first 30, 40 years of OPPI's existence, it was all on the supply chain side. And I think that gives us tremendous confidence that not only have we contributed to the patient's well-being, but we've also contributed to creating the ecosystem for pharmaceuticals in India. And I think that's something that I want all of us to always remember. The stated objectives of OPPI remain common. So if you look at the 60-year journey, there are 3 pillars on which we rest everything we do. And the first one is really enable our member companies to launch innovative medicines, vaccines, and services in this country, so that not a single patient of the 1.45 billion that we serve here is left behind. So that remains at the core of everything we do. The second is continue to create equitable access to all patients, because disease doesn't differentiate, regardless of whether you're sitting in a metropolitan city or in the Mofussil interiors. The access to these medicines, which really bring about path-breaking value to patients, are accessible and available. And the third, but these days the most important, is the ease of doing business. I think increasingly we do realize that our job doesn't just stop with bringing innovative medicines here. It's to constantly engage with stakeholders across the spectrum to move this conversation forward, and therefore this theme of power of partnerships. Today the dire need is to create an innovation ecosystem. Right? You heard from Mr. Matai that the transition from being a pharmacy of the world to a research powerhouse is stated easily in a PowerPoint slide, but what needs to change on the ground? And that's something that we are all committed to. I think as I scope the next 60 years and beyond for this incredible organization that has really played yeoman service to the nation, there are 2 or 3 things that remain critical. One is an incredible appetite for all of us, regardless of which companies we represent, which functions we represent, to play up the Indian story, the Indian narrative in our global organizations, because there is so much more to be done here in this country. So that's the first task I have for all of us as we move ahead. Second is continue to engage regulators across the board. I think in the last few years, the kind of changes that I have seen along with my peers, be it on the regulatory front, be it the announcement on Bioshakti mission, be it the formation of 1,000 clinical trial centers, which should supposedly be centers of excellence, there's a lot happening on the external side. And the question is, what is it that we as OPPI can recreate that we did so effortlessly for decades before this? I want to end by saying only one thing, that our work has just about begun. The responsibility from here on only increases for us, especially as we try and create the innovation ecosystem and try and make India the biologics hub, at least in the next 2 or 3 decades. There's no comparison with any other country because we are competing only with ourselves. All the variables that made us successful on the generic side will have to now translate into what we do on the other side in biologics. And I think that's the message that we have. Opportunities will be incredible, and I think it's up to us to embrace those opportunities with open arms. I'm even more happy this evening because I know I've been relentless to request Mr. Nitin Paranspe to be with us this evening, because in him we have a great example of someone who straddled this effortlessly. So a lot more when we hear the keynote address from him and get those pearls of wisdom, so to say, in terms of what is it that's at stake for us individually as well as our member companies. I also want to give a context on the annual day. You know, I've been in the industry for many years, and this day was the most anticipated and awaited event, because this day we celebrate the performances of brand teams across categories which include existing brands, new launches, and I think when I talk of brand teams, it's across the value stream. So I'm sure the next few hours will be very exciting. Congratulations in advance to all those winners whom we will announce. Have a wonderful evening ahead and enjoy the next few hours with us. Thank you very much.